Okay, so here's a little receive multicoupler. This is one port in, 4 ports out. It's also known as a Wilkinson divider. I won't get into these too much, but one of the things that's very common for me to see at radio sites is, and you'll see I'm just using end connectors on here, just pushed on because these are BNC, but it'll work good enough, is these loads will be missing from the adjacent ports. I want to show you how important those are. Not so much for the throughput performance, but for the matching performance. So up here I have everything on a VNA, and here we go. You should see it. There might be a little scan differential in the video here, but you can see the yellow there is the S11 performance. This has about 7.2 dB insertion loss. And you know, that's the big thing there, is you want that performance to be good, because that's what determines your matching for your, you know, pre-selector filters and all that stuff. And it's negative 18 dB right now. So I'm going to take off one of these over here, and you can look at my toe while I do this. I'm sorry. And let me plug this back in here. Okay, so that's what we have, and let's come on, go back in there. Okay. And right now, with one of them off, you can see we're still, loss is just the same, but it's now 12 dB down. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can take another one off here. Well, I'll take the whole thing off, I suppose. Forgot these guys are bayonet. Okay, put this back in, and let this thing redraw. Okay, there we go. And now we're, of course, our insertion loss is slightly improved, but you can see we're 7 dB down in terms of S11, which is our match on that particular port. And you know, it's even worse. So this is so very important to have these on there. And the nice thing about this, though, if we reverse this like this, what if we just went on the floor? Okay. So we're like that. This is the neat property of the Wilkinson divider, though, which is the match on the output port or whatever is actually going to be fairly good, irrespective of the adjacent ports. And you can see the loss through it is reciprocal. The match is not. So that's why it's so very important to have these on here. Come on, go on there. Okay. And those will be on there now. You see, it doesn't significantly improve our match on the input port, but when these are swapped around, it makes a really big difference. And I can swap them again quickly for you, because generally coming into this, you'll be either coming off a preamplifier in many cases, or coming directly off a pre-selector, you know, some sort of cavity filter. And that's so very important that it have a good 50 ohm match. You can see with everything terminated, that input port now it's registering almost 21 dB of return loss, which is pretty amazing. You know, an extra 1/10 of a dB insertion loss, but that is what it is. So that's why these load resistors on unused ports are so very important, because you want this input port to have a good match.